We are front and center at the Maruti Suzuki Pavilion and have the front seat view for you guys all the time. 7 days of amazing launches, latest unveils and innovations in the automotive industry. And that's not it. To make this day brighter, we have with us Urvashi Kaur. Guys, Urvashi is a Delhi-based designer who's dedicated towards creating wearable luxury with a vision to make her label an economically sustainable and culturally influential brand. Hi Urvashi.
Hi
welcome.
Archana.
Welcome to the Maruti Suzuki studio. We're so happy to have you here. Tell me, are you excited to be here in the first place?
Thank you, Archana. Thank you for having me here. It is most amazing to be here at the Maruti Suzuki studio and pavilion at the Auto Expo. I think I'm really excited to see everything on display, and it's great to see such innovation and forward-thinking design and smart design. And I think it's just what India needs.
That's right, Urvashi. You're absolutely correct. Maruti Suzuki has been a pioneer when it comes to innovation and technology in the auto industry. It started by being the first company to launch India's first three-box sedan in 1990, then the nation's first light commercial vehicle, Super Carry in the domestic market in 2006, and many more in the years that followed. Coming back to the fusion of domestic and international trends, Urvashi, tell us about your brand.
Well, my brand is called Urvashi Kaur, and the philosophy behind the brand is all about conscious luxury, but keeping it's sort of global. Global in the sense that it's a hybrid expression of working locally, creating locally, but for a global market, for a global aesthetic, evolved fashion, for an evolved customer.
Yes, indeed. Just like Maruti Suzuki.
Absolutely.
There isn't another brand like yours, quite specifically. So what inspires you to create these designs?
I think my inspiration truly lies in ethnicities and identities. I think in the world of today, I think people are quite fascinated with and are grappling with our own identities as people, as humans, as a race. And I think it's my travels that take me to places where I love to see how art and culture and how it, evolves the identity of the people in that place. And I think that to me is really what I'm most inspired by. And I try to bring that into my collections. I have in almost all of my collections been inspired by my journeys to these far and remote places.
But something that changes also geographically is textiles.
Absolutely.
Everywhere in the world, textiles change. How do textiles intrigue you?
I've just been exposed to this textile heritage of our country in my formative years. Textile is really the DNA of every society, and how their culture and their traditions influence the textiles. So I have been surrounded with the most beautiful textiles that are hand spun, contain this whole story, this heritage, and the human element that goes into creating something that is hand spun and
The essence of handmade.
Handmade.
Yes.
It's the stories of the people that create this
Correct.
textile, from
Correct.
the yarn to the final product.
Yeah.
It's about that. So textile to me is the starting point of all my collections.
It's nice to know that you were surrounded by art and creativity. Your
Yes.
mom's an artist, like you said. But what would you describe as the core strength of your brand?
I think the core strength, the core philosophy of the brand is really to be consciously create, and just artisans and people try and work with these communities and create design interventions where you're creating not just for you, not just for the brand, not just for now. You're talking about generations that come after you, and you're leaving behind or a little imprint into the design language and the textile language of our country.
Speaking about design language that
Yes.
you just mentioned, designing clothes, that's what you do, but it's very similar to designing cars, isn't it?
Absolutely. I was in fact remarking at how beautiful some of the design language and the fluid lines of your latest launch of Ignis. I think it's a brilliant design, very smart design, very young, urban, peppy, zingy. It's got all the elements, the color. So essentially, I think anything that gives you the attitude that you can relate to, I think that is how, just like you would wear clothes to really, it's an expression of your, your identity, an expression of your personality. I think cars do the same thing, and I see beautiful, eye-catching colors, the design, the interiors, attention to detail.
Yes.
All of this matters greatly.
Yes, we live in our clothes, we live in
Absolutely,
our cars. And
absolutely.
That's
It's the window to how you want people to perceive you, right?
Yes.
It's also how you perceive a car is by even the minute changes in the grille design, in the dynamic changes in making the whole
Body.
the body composite look like a whole. I think it's intelligent design.
Let me go back to what you spoke about your with the parallel with the design in clothes coming very similarly to design where the cars are concerned. So that's a wonderful, interesting parallel that you've drawn here, which brings me to my next question. Besides the aesthetics and the looks, a car also needs to have the right amount of accessories.
Absolutely.
Right? So what is your take on accessories in the fashion industry?
Absolutely. For me, accessories is something I absolutely love. I think it is the value add. It is, it's fun. It's something that,
it makes or breaks an outfit.
Absolutely, it makes or breaks a look. I actually believe in designing something very simple, but accessorizing my look, which then can afford a lot of possibility or versatility in what I create in my collections, which can take an outfit from day to evening, depending on how you accessorize it.
Urvashi, now you've become a renowned name in the fashion world, but how has the journey been for you?
My journey, I started with studying fashion in Paris, in the Mecca of fashion, and then worked with a catalyst was, having worked with great fashion moguls, Marcel Marojou and Issey Miyake in Paris while I was studying there. And that then gave me, propelled me and gave me a sort of world vision. And I said, I want to come back and work with our beautiful textiles and start my journey there.
At this Auto Expo 2020, Maruti Suzuki launched the Mission Green Million. It's a wonderful initiative. What are your thoughts on that?
So it's fantastic to learn about this launch and this bold initiative taken up by Maruti Suzuki for the Mission Green Million. I think it is a fantastic endeavor, and I wish them all the best, and I fully support this initiative, because I think that's the step in the right direction. We all need to become aware. We all need to push forward for new innovations in sustainable and be more conscious of our carbon footprint.
Yes, indeed. Maruti Suzuki going leaps and bounds with the Mission Green Million. Thank you so much, Urvashi, for being here in our wonderful Maruti Suzuki studio. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And for all those of you watching, remember, share using the hashtag Maruti Suzuki Studio and hashtag Maruti Suzuki AE20.